Alright, welcome to the vise. Today, we're going to be tying a red midge larva. This one is a size 14. Tying it on a 11-20 size 14 Daiichi. For the thread, I'm going to be using Simplify A-Dot in red. For the rib material, I'm going to be using vinyl midge rib from UTC. And then for the body wrap material, I'm going to be using Flashabou in 6903, which is like a pearl flash instead of an opal flash. And then the beads, I'm using Hairline Plummeting Tungsten 7/64 or 2.8 millimeter white. All right, so let's get this one out of the vise and get the fresh hook in the vise. All right, we got our hook on our bead. We're just gonna give this barb a little smash down here since I didn't get barbless hooks on these. Okay. All right, so we're gonna start off, get our thread going here. Just get you a little, no need to get crazy with the build right here. Just enough to keep it in place. I'm gonna try and keep this fly as slender as possible. It's kind of can be bulky, can become bulky, I should say. All right, we're gonna take our midge rib and we're gonna just kind of bury it underneath that bead just a little bit on the near side of the hook here. We're just gonna loose wrap a couple wraps to get it in, and then we're gonna start pulling some tension on it. Now we're gonna start bringing that midge rib up towards the top of the hook while pulling tightly, trying to compress that midge rib without pinching it off and breaking it. I like to do my best to get touching wraps on this part to kind of build a red base underneath this. So we're gonna eliminate some bulk if we can. And then I like to stop right about where the curve meets, if there was a parallel line, meets the eye of the hook. And it should leave you with just enough space for that bead to sit resting without touching the thread. See if I bounce the thread? So if I just put it down there and I put it right in the peak of the bend, it should not touch. So that's perfect right there. So that's where we're gonna go with. Now we're gonna take our Flashabou here. I've already got the section cut here. So one fly, you can take one strip of Flashabou, cut it in half and cut it in half again, and that'll give you the perfect amount for one fly. Or you can just take 4 pieces at one time, like I do, and then just cut it off as you go. Makes it a little bit easier to wrap it, but this is the end of a 4-piece here, so. Okay. Get your material where it's not too crazy. Now we're gonna loosely wrap up, trying to capture these little fibers around the shank of the hook there. Okay. And we're gonna just keep everything out of our way here. Now we're just gonna loose wrap back, kind of help capture those last bits of fibers. Now we're just gonna touching wrap back, cover up those Flashabou pieces as best you can without building too much. Now we're gonna build a taper. Go all the way back to the bend there and then back. Now I'm gonna go right to where it's a little bulky right there. And now I'm gonna go back. Go back here again. Just kind of stopping as the taper builds. Fill up any gaps you got. Call that right there. Nice little taper. All right, now we're gonna take some super glue. You can use head cement. Super glue is gonna be a little faster, a little more easier to deal with. Just a little bit on top there to get it going. Then we're just gonna kind of spread that across the shank of the hook as best we can. Get a little bit too much, just put it upside down. The tip should absorb that back up in there. There we go. Okay. All right, now we can take our needle bodkin dilly bobber here and just kind of spread that out a little more so it's a little more even around there. Now these are kind of short. Okay, so what we're gonna do here too, before I get too carried away, I'm gonna do a 2-turn whip finish, just enough to keep it on there. If you have a rotary vise with a cradle, go ahead and get that out. We're gonna just set our bobbin aside there. We're not gonna use the rotary function because we have this other bobbin hanging off with this on it, so we don't want to spin it around and cause a bunch of problems. We're just gonna lock it in with some hackle pliers. Going. Oh, we got that. So we got that. We want to get this one fiber from underneath. Oh, there's 2 of them. Okay. There we go. Get everyone on the right side of the hook there. Make sure everyone's good. So you get good results. All right. So now we're just going to go clockwise, wraps, touching, slightly overlapping. But you don't want to overlap too much because you want that red to come through. And we're going to lock that in. Go on either side of that. Get it locked in nice. We're going to cut off our excess. Set the hooks or fibers aside. All right, so now we're going to counterclockwise wrap, pulling kind of tight on these first couple wraps to get that midge rib to kind of shrink in size a little bit, then start backing off on your last few wraps there. Now I'm just going to capture one in front, come around behind, do that a couple times. That just kind of helps to lock that midge rib in real nice. And I'm just going to give it a little pull while I cut, and that should just shrink that midge rib right back into that wrap so you don't have a nub sticking out. Now we can whip finish. Go 4-turn whip finish on that one. Get it tight. We're going to do, let's see here, 1, 2, 4. We get one more wrap on that 5-turn. Give it a nice tightness, not too tight to break it, and then cut it off nice and clean. Boom. All right, now we're here. We're going to add some head cement, but this is going to be rock hard body coating. You could use a UV resin for this part, or Sally Hansen's hard as nails, anything like that. Just going to paint this stuff on. This stuff has like a very low build, so you can really kind of get it into the grooves, make sure it soaks in between all the little fibers, and it'll change the fly as we watch it dry. It really brings the red out. Let's set this down here, and there you go. Red midge larva, size 14 chironomid. This is a killer pattern for early spring when they're still down low eating the little red worms. You know, they just smash this thing. So this is a great pattern. You can change the color of the bead, you can change the color of the thread, you can change the color of the midge rib, you can change the flashaboo. I just really like this pearl flashaboo with this. Brings out a lot more of a more natural undertone than the opal. The opal brings out a lot of red and green. This brings out a little more blue and green, but it also has kind of a whitish, clearish tint to it, which it really changes the way that the fly looks. Here's an example. There's some flies that I can show you here. So here's one with yellow thread, or well, it's burnt orange UTC thread, and then the flashaboo is actually like a peach flashaboo, and so the combo, just killer looking fly right there. And then if you have like an olive, this is what it looks like with the olive underneath that same wrap. See how it's really just changes the color of the fly. So here's one in purple, and you can just see like it's such a different color fly with the same flashaboo. So you can really get crazy. And here's an awesome one right here. It's white underneath that pearl flashaboo. Just devastatingly awesome fly right there. Right on. Well, if you like this video, don't forget to like and subscribe. Helps get some movement on the channel. And stay tuned for more flies and fishing videos coming soon.